discover the true power of XLOOKUP function and how to use it in Microsoft Excel. In this video, I have put up 8 practical and real-world use cases of XLOOKUP. Whether you are an absolute beginner or an Excel pro, this video walks you through how to use XLOOKUP like a database. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the video.
All right, starting with example 1 use case of XLOOKUP function, which we can refer to as basic employee lookup. Let's take, for example, our manager wants us to get the department of this employee with ID E127. We need to ensure we do that effectively in a more effective way, not just going to scroll down and be looking for E127. What we just need to do is to use XLOOKUP function to do that. And to get that, we come over to this department and say equals XLOOKUP, double click here. Once that is done, what's the lookup value? Our lookup value is this E127. We say comma. What's our lookup array? Our lookup array is the range under employee ID. Hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow, and then Control backspace to return where we are. Then we press comma. Now we are asking Excel look up for this value under this range. When you find it, return any corresponding value under department. So to do that, we highlight this, Control Shift, down arrow to select entire range, Control backspace to return where we are. And that is our basic use case of XLOOKUP. We hit enter and this says that person is in the department ID. And one good thing about this is that it's dynamic. If I double click here and I'm looking for someone in E170, if there is anything like that, and hit enter, it tells me that this person is in marketing department, and the person with this ID is in marketing department. And that is the number 1 example use case of XLOOKUP function. Here in example 2, let's say we want to design this in such a way that when we select the products, any of the product name here, the price will display here without us going to this place, to the database, and looking for the price or in search for the price of that particular product name. To do that, we need to use XLOOKUP in order to look up our inventory sheet to get the price of each of the products. However, to get this drop-down list, you make use of data validation. To understand more of data validation, feel free to check any of our videos on data validation right on this channel. All right, to achieve that, we are going to make use of XLOOKUP function. We say equals XLOOKUP, double click here. Once we double click, what's our lookup value? Our lookup value is the product name. We put comma. What is our lookup array? Our lookup array is in our database sheet, which is the range of product name. Click Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range. Once that is done, look at this formula bar. You will see that our lookup array here, we put comma. The next is return array. What do we want to be returned? Once we find it, that's the price. We click on price, Control Shift down arrow to select the entire range, and then that is what we do. We hit enter and automatically the price will display here. And one good thing about this is that this is dynamic. If I select this, the price will display. If I select this, the price will display as well. And with this, we don't need to be going over to our database in search of the price. That already makes it to be dynamic, and you can give it to your sales rep, you can give it to your sales officer to use to check for prices of product when a customer buys a product. Also, you can come to this place and decide to hide it. Click right click, come to hide, and the person only have access to the product price, where you can already select any of the item, any of the product name, and the price will display. And this is the example 2 use case of XLOOKUP. Here in example 3 use case of XLOOKUP is what we call wildcard feature of XLOOKUP. And in this, let's take for example, I'm looking for a name called called Ruben, and here we have both first name and last name. Maybe I didn't know the last name, I don't remember the last name, but I know the person's name is Ruben. I can search for it using wildcard and then get the person's salary, looking for the salary of the person called Ruben. And to do that, we are going to make use of the wildcard feature of the XLOOKUP to only search for Ruben and ignore the other names. And to do that, we say equals XLOOKUP, double click this. What is the lookup value? Our lookup value is Ruben. However, Ruben only is not what is in that column. Hence, we do shift 7 to insert the ampersand and then put double quotation and type in our asterisk and close it. Put our comma. That is our lookup value. Then the next is lookup array. The lookup array is under the range of name. Then hold Control, hold Shift down arrow. That we select the entire range. Control backspace to return where we are. Then we put comma. What are we looking for once we get Ruben? Return salary for me. Then under the salary, we highlight it. Select that by Control Shift down arrow, Control backspace to return where we are as well. Then we put comma. Is now asking us if not found. We are not interested in the if not found, which we are going to be getting in the course of this video as well. Then we put another comma. Is asking us the match mode. Here we are going to make use of this wildcard character match. Is asking exact match or next small item, and the like. We are going to make use of the wildcard. Double click on it and the two will show. Then you close your parentheses and hit enter. That way automatically it will display the salary of Ruben right here. If we check here, Ruben Prasad of United States, that is the salary and what we have here. And good thing about this is that this is dynamic. Let's say, for example, I type code here and hit enter. Automatically the salary will update to the one of code Maxen, and that is example 3 use case of XLOOKUP. Here in example 4 use case of XLOOKUP, which we can refer to as multiple columns, returning multiple columns, not just one, not just two, more than 3 or 4, as the case may be. Here in this example, we have a column called revenue, state, region, manufacturer, and product, and we want to return this search in one click. To do that, we make use of XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP can help us to do that in one click, where we want to get this product ID to see what revenue, state, region, manufacturer, and product. To do that, we have to go down and say equals XLOOKUP. Double click here. What are we looking for? We are looking for the product ID. That's our lookup value. We put comma. What's our lookup array? Our lookup array is under the product ID. Select, Control Shift down, and then highlight the entire range. Control backspace to return where we are, and then remember to press the F4 key to lock this section absolute reference, and then put your comma. What is the return array? The return array is the multiple columns that we want Excel to return for us. So right here, I'm going to highlight this and stop at this point, because we are working for revenue, states, region, manufacturer, and product. And then to do that, we hold Control Shift and press the down arrow to highlight the entire range. Control backspace to get back where we are. And remember to press your F4 in order to lock this cell or absolutely reference it. And once that is done, we hit enter, and automatically we can see Excel returns all this for us: the revenue, the state, the region, manufacturer, and the product at the same time. Once we drag this down using the autofill function, automatically the rest will display. And this is example 4 use case of XLOOKUP, where XLOOKUP returns multiple columns or multiple fields for our search. Here in example 5 use case of XLOOKUP, which is multiple criteria. Previously on this video, we have been looking at single criteria. Now we are going to take it a step further to consider multiple criteria, which is a more advanced use case of the XLOOKUP. Here we are going to be looking for the employee name who works in the sales department, junior level executive role. To get such an employee, we are going to make use of XLOOKUP, but in this case, in a more advanced level. To do that, we say equals XLOOKUP, double click here. What are we looking for? The lookup value here is 1, and this 1 represents a logic symbol. In logic, 1 is true, while 0 is false. Why do we want to do that? Because we want to put in some logic aspect as regards to this XLOOKUP. And to do that, we open our parentheses. The next is to consider the department. Under the department range, select this, Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to return where we are. We say if you see all in this range equals to sales, you select this, you close the parentheses, then asterisk, which is times, which function as the AND function, then open another parenthesis. We move to the next criteria, which is the level. Click here, Control Shift down arrow to select the entire range, Control backspace to return where we are. We say equals to the junior level, then close the parentheses, and then the last criteria, asterisk again for the last criteria, which is the row. We go over to this place again, and then Control Shift down arrow to select the entire range as well, Control backspace to get back where we are, and then we say equals to this particular row, which is executive. Remember to put it in parentheses. Let's come over to this place, put in parentheses, and then come over here. This becomes our lookup array. We are saying to Excel, if you look up in this range is equals to this, and then add it up with this, and then with this. If all these three criteria, if they are true, in other words, if the result is 1, if any of them is false, it will be 0. And of course, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. But once it's true, this is true, this is true, it will be 1 times 1 times 1, which will give us 1. So if we have 1 here, what do we want to get? That is our return array. And the return array is we want to get the name of that individual that fulfill these three criteria. So we are looking for it in the name range. Hold Control, hold Shift, press your down arrow, then Control backspace to return where we are, and that we have to close our parentheses, and then we hit enter, and automatically the name of the individual displays here, which is Cedric Lang. If we want to check, let's say if we have any person in the executive role that works in the senior department, in his senior role, hit enter, automatically it changes to Mara Prasad, which is dynamic, and that is example 5 use case of XLOOKUP multiple criteria. Here in example 6 use case of XLOOKUP, which we are going to be looking at multiple criteria again. However, in this example, we are looking at multiple criteria both in a vertical lookup and in a horizontal lookup. Previously on this video, we considered multiple criteria based on vertical lookup alone. Here we are going to be looking at, we are looking at the name Colin Arnold, which is on the vertical lookup, and then the days Wednesday, which is on the horizontal lookup. To do this, we are going to be making use of XLOOKUP, however, in a more advanced way. And to do that, let's say equals XLOOKUP. Then double click here. What's the lookup value? Our lookup value is the name. The first lookup value is the name. Then we put comma. What's the lookup array? That's the name range. Hold Control, hold Shift, the down arrow, Control backspace to return where we are, and then we put comma. The next thing is to put another XLOOKUP, which we can call the nested lookup function. Double click here. What is our lookup value? Our lookup value now becomes the days, which is Wednesday. Then comma. What's our lookup array? Our lookup array now is Monday down to Friday, and then we put comma. And now is to check for our return array. Our return array now becomes all these values. Then hold Control, hold Shift, press that arrow to highlight the entire range, and then Control backspace. However, then you close your first XLOOKUP and then close the second XLOOKUP. The rule says the number of brackets or parentheses you open, you close the same number. And here we hit enter. Automatically, we get that Colin Anna on Wednesday generated this amount. Let's put a separator for us to easily read it. Now this is 9,538,000 something. Now this is Colin Anna. And if we follow that on Wednesday, which is exactly what we have here, and that makes it to the dynamic. Let's say we are looking for let's say Edward Brown. We select automatically that edit itself, and this is what we call data validation as well. Feel free to check out our videos on data validation. Also, if we want to check how much he made on Monday, then we can go over here and select, and we see how much he makes on Monday, and that is a more powerful use case of XLOOKUP, and that is example 6 of the use case of XLOOKUP. Here in example 7 use case of XLOOKUP, which we refer to as approximate match. Here we have a list of sales reps with their revenue generated, and the company already have what we call the revenue threshold and the rate at which we can administer bonus to the sales reps, and the threshold says if you make anything between 0 and then less than 10,000, you are not getting anything called bonus. If you make from 10,000 above but less than 20,000, you have 1% of your revenue as bonus. The same way, if you make 20,000 above but less than 40,000, you have 3% as your bonus, and so on and so forth. Those that make 100,000 above, we get 15% rate of their revenue. And to calculate this, we are going to make use of approximate match, being that in this revenue there is no exact match, or there is no mostly exact match to this threshold. For example, this is 61,659. Here it falls between 40 and it falls between 60 and 80. And then Excel will take the approximate value, which is 6, to return the rate bonus as 9. And to check that, calculate that, and also to do it for the rest of the salesperson in this data set, instead of taking them and typing them one after the other, what we do, we use XLOOKUP approximate match function, which is a more advanced function of the XLOOKUP. We say equals to X, then we double click here. What is our lookup value? Our lookup value is our revenue. Here we click on revenue, and then we say comma, what is our lookup array? Our lookup array is our revenue threshold. We select this, press F4 to lock it, and then we hit comma. Now if we find this, what do you want to return? We want to return the bonus rating. We select this as well, press F4 to lock it, then we hit comma. What is the value if not found? We are not interested in that. We press another comma. Here is what we are going to be looking for. Here we have exact match. We have exact match, which is 0, exact or next smaller item, or exact or next larger item. We are going to be taking the minus. You are looking for exact or the next smaller item. We double click on this, and that is what we have. We close our parentheses, and then we hit enter. Automatically Excel shows me 0.09, and why this is so is because we haven't formatted this to be in percentage. So let's go ahead and format this to be in percent. Automatically it gives us 9, and then to do that for the rest of this, we can double click here, and automatically it filled up. We begin to see that this person is below 10, it gets 0. This is below 10, it gets 0. Below 10, it gets 0. This is over 100,000, it gets 15%. This is below 100,000 but above 80,000, it gets 12%. And that is our example 7 of use case of XLOOKUP. Here in example 8 use case of XLOOKUP, we are going to be looking at how to handle errors as regards to XLOOKUP. You remember when we have the aspect of multiple criteria when we look for the employee name in sales department, mid and executive role. Here, let's say for example, someone is mistakenly typed in, let's say, looking for account department, and hit enter. It will be this error sign or error reply, and that makes it a bit awkward. It's not really okay in the eyes. For us to handle this error display, we do that as well in XLOOKUP. Now to do that, let's double click here to open up our previous XLOOKUP function, and then we come over to this place. What we have there is, we come over to this place. What we have is return array. We put comma. Now if not found, that is where we will handle the error. If not found, open parentheses, we can put there not available. We can type there not available, and then that's, we close the parentheses, we close the quotation rather, and then we close our parentheses. That is how we deal with errors in XLOOKUP. And once I hit enter, now what you will see there is not available. Anytime we now look for something that is not available, let's say we have here QA/QC as a department, we are looking whether the organization has that, and we hit enter, it will also say not available. But if we put here HR and then hit enter, it brings us that the person is Ebony Asher, and that is number 8 use case of XLOOKUP. I believe you have mastered 8 examples, 8 use cases of XLOOKUP, from the basics to a more advanced use cases of XLOOKUP. Now I can say that you have mastered XLOOKUP up to the advanced level. Go ahead, practice it, use it in your day-to-day activities as regards to data analysis. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this video, do well to like this video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our future upload. By the next week, we are going to be uploading a new video right on this channel on another powerful function as regards to Microsoft Excel. Also, we conduct live webinars, trainings on career coaching, CV writing, job interview question and answers, even other tech-related courses. Do well to be part of this great community. Till then, keep practicing and keep excelling. See you in our next video. Thank you.